Hi, everybody. Thank you for coming to our guided meditation this morning. We are so lucky to have a very experienced meditation and yoga teacher here with us, Chris, and he's going to lead us in a guided meditation and some breathing exercises that hopefully will help us to reduce our stress and anxiety and help us co-create a vision for a better world. So, Chris, do you want to go ahead and get started?
Sure. Thanks, Tamar. And welcome to everyone. Today I thought we would do some breathing exercises in a few different positions that really help us to take a full deep breath. Yoga, really one of the definitions I've used for yoga for several years is that yoga's infinite interconnectivity. So yoga's perspective is that all things are connected. And one of the ways that it expresses that is that us as individuals, the microcosm, reflect the larger world and universe, the macrocosm. And on an individual level, when we coordinate the breath, it really means that we're coordinating all different parts of our torso, of our core. We're stimulating all different organs just by the movement of the torso in a full breath. And in controlling the level of carbon dioxide and oxygen, we actually change the pH of the blood. We change how well distributed oxygen and the nutrients are. So it's a really effective practice in bringing balance to us. And again, we can see this immediate threat to us really does hit the lungs and breathing. And again, much of the damage we've done as humans throughout the world kind of hits the lungs of the earth. You know, that ability of this, all these ecosystems to keep that balance of the atmosphere as we know it. So again, in that microcosm and us learning to breathe better and being more connected to our center, hopefully that will give us more ability to stay centered and take concrete actions to change the way we interact with the world. The other thing that to me is really appropriate to look at now in this time is when there is an immediate crisis, you know, there's an immediate cause, and that cause here is the virus. And that's well recognized, and they're working on it the best they can in all these ways to analyze and come with a solution. But yoga also recognized there's almost always a root cause that enabled that immediate cause to come to fruition. Again, everything's interconnected. Nothing happens in a vacuum. It's not the virus's fault, or even necessarily the people who this first transmitted to fault. This is set up by the conditions we've set up. The environmental instability of our whole system encourages, again, a lot of things to be out of balance. Our globalization and the way we travel and ship things, really without care, those things, again, exchange whatever happens in one area at a much quicker rate. So if we look at, again, those things that are happening at the macrocosm, we may not see ourselves as the typical Americans, and probably many of us are not in the way we live. But we should see that the seeds and some of our actions do work against Gaia and nature's way of bringing balance. So again, this should be both self-reflection and reflection on a larger scale. So what is, if we've recognized the immediate cause here as the virus, again, in looking at that root cause, as we get centered, And as an individual, we get our health back, our breath more full, our calmness and ability to relax back. Again, that's not enough. It's not enough to do that and just be kind to our neighbors. It really is a time for dramatic action. So to start, I'd like to start standing up in a way that really brings the upper torso to receive the breath and helps mobilize the ribs. So I'm going to stand up, move the camera, and all of you are welcome to just stand up. You don't need much space, just enough space to move your arms out to the side and in front of you. And from here, just relax. Let your feet be comfortably wide apart, roughly as wide as the hips. And again, if they turn out a little, that's fine. Just let them be comfortable. And you're going to coordinate your movements with the breath. In general, there'll be an inhaling, will be an expansive movement, like lifting the arms overhead. Exhaling will be something like lowering the arms or just bending the elbows. So starting with the arms at the side. Exhale deeply, slowly, fully through both nostrils. Inhale through the nostrils. Turn the palms to face forward and then up. Take the whole inhale, sweeping the arms up, and the whole exhale, lowering. Palms towards the front and then lower. Shoulder blades are on the back. The inhale lifts the arms, coordinating it. Move to your breath's rhythm. And exhale. Use the abdominal muscles, squeeze the breath out. This time when we inhale the arms up, we're going to exhale, bend the elbows, touch one hand to the opposite shoulder. Head can come forward, breathe for a full breath. When you inhale, stretch the arm. Hands to the shoulders. Full inhale. Full exhale. Inhale. Arms release. Gaze goes up. Exhale. See if the opposite hand can come in first. Full breath. And inhale, stretch up, gaze up. And exhale, lower the arms slowly. Separate the feet just another foot or so wide. Inhale the arms up about 3/4. So they're facing up, above, out to the side, but not straight overhead. Inhale. Feel the expansion outward through the torso, through the arms, top of the head. Exhale. Feel a sense of moving in. Every inhale, feel the expansion opening. Every exhale, feel the sense of something drawing into the core. Deep exhale, and then one more inhale. And lowering the arms as you exhale. Step the feet back together. This time you'll inhale the arms forward, palms down, then they'll be facing forward. And exhale, lower. One more time. Inhale the arms up. Turn the palms towards each other and push down through the feet as you stretch up through the hands and lean towards one side. Should be comfortable here for several breaths, so don't have to go as far as you can to the side. You can keep both arms overhead. If that's challenging, just bend the elbows and bring the hands towards the elbows. Feel these ribs open up. You can keep the hands where they are, but just notice how the inhales expand the ribs. And come back up. Stretch up, root down into the feet. And again, go slightly to the side in a lateral stretch. Be where you can still breathe fully. Feel the ribs opening. There's one set of muscles inside the ribs, one outside that help open the ribs and close them as we breathe. Come all the way up. Exhale, just let the palms, the arms lower in front slowly. We're going to do just one more exercise, maybe to bring some tension out of the neck and shoulders. Inhale, bring the shoulders all the way up. Shrug them to the ears. Take them back a little to the back of the body. And then let the shoulder blades go down the back gently. Inhale, shrug them up all the way. Take them back and slowly let the shoulder blades come down the back. One last time. Excellent. We're going to do one more action. I'm going to just show you first what it looks like. It looks better. You see it better from the side. You're going to wind up in this position with the forearms together and the little fingers together in front of your body. I'm going to take you there with a slightly different arm movement, one that we've done before, but inhale, sweep the arms up, out to the side. And exhale, bend the arms, but bend the elbows so you make a 90-degree angle. Take an inhale here. And as you exhale, bring the little fingers, the inner edge of the forearms together, and breathe deeply. Feel how this brings the breath into the back of the body. Keep the arms in that position as you breathe. Feel the ribs move away from the spine as the lungs expand. Notice the movement of the shoulder blades, of this. And exhale. Gently release the arms. And we're going to do just a couple more positions before we sit. And this one's going to be on the ground. So I have a yoga mat here. You can be on anything. We're just here a few minutes. So anything comfortable to lie on is fine. And these positions I'm showing you because if you are in a time of stress, these two body positions, if you maintain them, force you into diaphragmatic breathing. So if you're able to just maintain these positions, not hard unless you have back issues. If any of these bring strain, avoid them. But again, these really force two different ways of diaphragmatic breathing. And before I explain them in detail, we're going to do each one for several breaths. And I want you to just watch first how your body moves and how it changes, how it moves between the two postures. And second, notice how your nervous system or mental alertness responds to the two different positions. First one is called the crocodile pose. One hand just lays flat, the fingers right over the top, and the chin comes to rest there. If this strains the neck, you can move the hands closer to the chest to lengthen the back of the neck. Then just breathe through both nostrils. Slowly in, no holding, slowly out, letting the chin rest on the hands. Feel how the body responds to this type of diaphragmatic breathing. Notice how the nervous system and mind respond to just breathing through both nostrils, lying in this position. Keep breathing through both nostrils, and you're just going to lift yourself up to Sphinx pose, where the arms are gently, forearms on the ground, and you're in a slight back bend. The head and neck are comfortable. You don't have to gaze up or forward. It can be slightly down in front of you. And just breathe through both nostrils. And if there's any back discomfort, take a comfortable posture. Breathe in a relaxed way. But here in Sphinx pose, notice how the body moves slightly different in response to a breath. And what do you notice about the nervous system and the state of mind? So I'm going to have you go through these one more time. You might see me change my position just so I can speak more clearly, but go ahead and come back to the crocodile pose. Fingers one on top of the other, chin on top. So as you notice in this type of breathing with the diaphragm, the muscle that should do 70, 80% of the work of a relaxed breath. Notice that as it moves, the diaphragm moves down as you inhale. The belly pushes into the ground. The back lifts because the belly meets the ground. And as you exhale, the low back releases, moves down, the ribs release. So we might call this belly breathing. You feel how relaxing it is to the nervous system, to the muscles and bones. It's so relaxing to the mind, it's almost sedating. And this is the way we should breathe before we go to sleep or relax completely. Then come back up into Sphinx pose with the forearms on the ground. Notice now as the diaphragm pushes down with the arch, In the back, the belly's toned. You notice the breath come up under the ribs. And there's more expansion up into this area. There's more outward movement of the ribs. When we come to seated, you're going to actually combine all of these. The first, the one lying in crocodile, the belly breathing, you're going to make the belly move out first. Then your breath's going to feel like it does now, moving up under the ribs, expanding into the low back. Then at the end of the inhale, when you're seated, it'll be like when we were standing with the arms overhead. You'll feel the breath in the chest and the upper back, even between the shoulder blades. We're going to feel that kind of full breath now. So we'll come to seated. And if seated posture is not comfortable, you can sit on the, you can sit on a chair. Hard edge chair is best, and sit towards the front. So you're keeping your spine upright. And if that's not comfortable, just lie down in a comfortable position with a couple of pillows as needed. Maybe something underneath the knees, if that helps. But above all, be comfortable here. And again, you can have the eyes gently closed or slightly open, where they'll probably have a little bit of a downward gaze. But either way, the eyes, the visual sense shouldn't be a disturbance. I want you to bring all awareness to the breath. Don't try to control it too much now. Just watch it. If you relax, notice how the breath probably goes right into belly breathing. Very little into the chest if you give very little energy to the breath. So this uncontrolled pattern where you are breathed by your subconscious is called a tidal breath. And it's just like the tides at the ocean, rhythmic, smooth in the sense that those waves come in and out smoothly. But the waves are not identical. So don't worry if one breath is a little shallower, just like one wave washes up less on the shore. Again, in this microcosm that we exist in the body, we can begin to co-create that breath, deepening it. So I want you to start to deepen the exhales, squeezing the abdominal muscles, starting to move to that 3-part breath. Don't over inhale right away. Feel the inhale in the belly, the ribs, the chest. The exhale slowly, slowly. Just breathing through both nostrils. Inhales, feel the belly, the low back, the ribs, then the chest, upper back. And then control that slow release. And then empty as much as you can. Transition to inhale. So the pauses at the end of inhale and exhale are short here, just enough time to transition like the wave transitions to moving the other way. For several breaths, turn the awareness in and feel those three parts of the breath. Every inhale, belly, ribs, upper torso. Exhale, releasing. And then squeezing the abdominals gently. Make the breath as steady and smooth as you can here. Now continue maintaining that steadiness and make the breath just a little deeper. If you lose the steadiness, if there's any gasping or jerkiness in the breath, let it be a little less vigorous, but see if you can make steady, long, slow breaths. To make it more relaxing, make the exhale much slower than the inhale. So don't rush the inhale. It can be slow, full, but as you exhale, make that as slow as you can, all the way from the beginning of the exhale to when you squeeze out that last bit of breath. Start to align your awareness now just in front of the spine, inside the torso, as if there was a column that ran up and down just in front of the spine, all the way through the neck, all the way through the top of the head. So now you can start to let the breath move back to that natural tidal rhythm, uncontrolled belly breathing. Some will be a little deeper than others. Some might even have a little disturbance or splash, but it moves naturally with a rhythm of its own, relaxed. Keep the awareness in that central channel right in front of the spine. And we're going to focus at different points along that central channel. Bring your awareness to the very center of your pelvic floor. down below the base of the spine. Hold the awareness there, as if your universe centered around that point. Relaxed, uncontrolled breath through both nostrils. Notice everything you sense, you feel from this perspective of the first chakra. Is there a taste, a smell? What's the background for any sound when you're focusing at the pelvic floor? Let your next exhale be a little more complete, squeezing out more of the breath. And then as you inhale, let your awareness rise 2 inches with the breath back towards the spine, a place called Svadhisthana, still an inch or so below the navel. Hold the awareness there with all of your senses focused. Notice the perspective, the influence of just changing where your awareness originates. Do you sense a little more fluidity compared to the pelvic floor's stability? Just feel, don't overthink, but notice. Does this background of the second chakra seem to affect the uncontrolled tidal breath? Your next exhale, make it longer. Squeeze the breath out. Track the awareness down that central channel to the pelvic floor. And as you inhale, let the awareness come up the central channel to the solar plexus, slightly above the navel, back against the spine. Hold your awareness at Manipura chakra. What seems to pervade the senses, the experience of this moment, as we focus at the third chakra. The pelvic floor. Inhale, let the awareness rise up in front of the spine to the level of the heart. Hold the awareness. The level of the heart. Back to the spine. Noticing the spaciousness of Anahata chakra. Allowing at a deep level the flower of the heart to open, to allow the natural expansion, like air filling exhale. Slowly let your awareness track downwards towards the pelvic floor. At the end of the exhale, start to inhale, track the awareness all the way up in front of the spine to the center of the throat. Hold the awareness there. Color. Yes. the throat chakra brings. Just for the throat to feel open. Open. The back has to feel relaxed. All is interconnected. With your exhale, squeeze out the breath, track the awareness down in front of the spine, all the way to the first chakra. Inhale, guide the awareness up in front of the spine, all the way to the third eye, the level of the eyebrows, but 3 inches deep into the skull. Hold the awareness there. Sides, anything you see focusing here? Is there something you might taste? Do you notice a sense of the upper palate, the top, the roof of your mouth, perhaps doming slightly upward more? Move to the final point of awareness. You're not going to travel down. You're just going to let the awareness rise up through the top of your head, through the highest point, or if there's a point where your skull is tingling, let it rise up through that point. Hold your awareness an inch above the top of the head. How does the perspective from the crown chakra feel? What is the background for our experience as we focus just above the top of the head? Take your time and gently bringing your awareness back into the body, back down the torso, below the navel. When the awareness is comfortable there, start to deepen the breath as if you could breathe in and out of a point below the navel. And as you feel ready, you can open the eyes. So this chakra system that we went through the torso, to me is another great metaphor for that microcosm and macrocosm, and how the perspective from which we see anything makes all the difference. And that the needs, even within our one human being, are different depending on where we focus. That first chakra is stability. We need, and hopefully when we were young, we needed that love, that stability from a larger group of humans to make us feel real. That perspective is very stable. If we don't ever satisfy the needs of that chakra, which really relates to certain parts of our brains and nervous system, we're always ungrounded until those things resolve, those issues that allow this ecosystem, our body, to come back into its natural balance. And really, each of the chakras are like that. They relate to different part of our brain, our central nervous system, that relates to different aspects. And again, in this spring season, where there's naturally congestion in the heart, Ayurveda calls this season heavy and dominant in kapha. And that congestion isn't just in the lungs and physically, sinuses and allergies, part of our bodies and the nerves coming out, but also too those emotional parts and really all layers of us, however we dissect ourselves. So maybe for a short conversation, what I would ask, and since we were there last, what did people notice? I pointed out at the second chakra, you might have noticed it's the water element. Things, instead of feeling so solid like the first, when you focus second chakra. So in opening this up, what did people feel when you were resting with awareness at the crown chakra outside the head?
Chris, I'm sorry, could you repeat from a little bit before the crown chakra? It was breaking up a little bit for me. So what did we feel before the chakra is how you wanted to open up the conversation?
I'm sorry?
Just could you repeat the question?
To look at how we experienced the moment in meditation, we're concentrating on that moment. So how did where we focus change the experience from solid at the root to more fluid at the second? What was your experience when you were at the crown chakra?
So my experience at the crown chakra, it was really interesting because for all the other chakras, I heard a lot of birds singing around me. And when I got to the crown chakra, you had said to kind of bring our awareness to what were our senses. And I just kind of noticed that there weren't any birds singing at that moment. And it was just kind of a lot quieter. and that was sort of the external stuff that I noticed. And then internally, I could just kind of feel this sensation up here, and feel like almost like I was in communication with my higher self, I guess. That I was kind of more open to receiving information. Um, and my body just felt relaxed. Like in some of the other chakras, I'd noticed like, oh, I kind of want to scratch my ear, or I just feel, I could feel discomfort in my body. And for that one, I couldn't feel any discomfort in my body. I just felt relaxed and open. Does anyone else want to talk about their experience? Looks like Judith is getting ready to go ahead and unmute.
Yeah. First, I wanted to thank you. This was very beautiful and profound for me because I haven't really relaxed. I apparently in quite some time. But in answer to your question, I knew exactly where the first chakra was and the seventh. And for two of the ones in the middle, I actually had to touch my spine to locate where you were talking about, because I've been so out of my body that it's not that easy to go, oh, well, inside the spine, just put your attention there. So thank you. I realized I just got much more in touch with my body. Thank you.
And that is so important. And we love the chakra system, our exercise, and then we do things, meditation for the mind. But this really, when you focus on these areas, really combines all aspects of our being. And I think getting back to Tamar's description, where she said both that she stopped hearing the birds and that her own body's perceptions and need to, scratch or feel an itch, those sensations kind of diminished. And that is what this area is, when we're connected to the ethereal. So when we're up here, often we do kind of not hear things, but we feel very connected. We don't feel like we end at our body when we bring our awareness here. There's a sense of expanded awareness or connection. So again, both, it's so important to connect to everything around us, but also very much so to those all parts of ourselves. And so to me, it's important when we change our routine, what did we lose? What aspect did we lose, and what part of us aren't we getting in touch with then? And then you can try to remedy it as best we can.
Okay, Chris, well, thank you so much for leading us in this meditation. I invite everyone to take this time, now that you're in this beautiful, relaxed, open frame of mind, to just kind of spend the day and the weekend thinking about spring and new life and new ways of being in the world, and how we can collectively create a vision for a beautiful world, in which we are, getting back into the harmony that we all feel is so important with nature. As nature, we are part of nature, and we can live sustainably and happily and in connection with it.